It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Sports don't stop, and neither do we. Welcome to 365 Sports, your home for real conversations, original shows, and coverage that lives where sports actually happen. Join David Smoke, Craig Smoke, and myself, Paul Catalina, for in-depth interviews and local stories to the moments national media misses. 365 Sports brings you the voices, debates, and perspectives fans care about every single day. Subscribe now on YouTube, search 365 Sports, and never miss a moment because sports aren't seasonal. They're 365.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
Just use AMP-Pace.
Pace.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US. Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at ULike, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ULIKE.com. ULike.
Hey, it's Matt Mosley of The Matt Mosley Show. We want you to watch our show every day, 1 to 3 on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. And you get to see big name guests like Gary Patterson, Art Briles, Scott Drew, Doug McNamee, major Cowboys insiders, ESPN legends like Sal Palantonio. When news breaks on Cowboys or Baylor or NFL, we want you to look here first. 1 to 3 weekdays. It's the Matt Mosley Show.
It is the Pete Sousa Show. We are brought to you by Slovakics, and I'll start off by saying to my executive producer, my friend, consider him a mentor, Chris Visser. Look, we're getting this changed out because folks at Socorro Family Ford, no knock on Extraco Bank, but you need to be over there, and we're working on it. We don't need my huge melon, right? Socorro Family Ford. That was for the first place I walked into. And they started up a deal with us. So we're getting that switched around, just so if there's any concern from my man, Chris Visser. But we got a lot of people on board this show that are helping out, man, that are part of this ride with us. One of them is Brendan Haywood, and he's going to join us in a little bit. We're going to talk to him about – I think this needs to get zipped up just a little bit more, right? Yeah. We're going to talk to him about North Carolina basketball, his career there, college basketball today, his career in the NBA, he has something called tall tales, right? He's discovered, as far as I'm concerned, like plutonium. And here's what I mean, okay? NBA players now are doing a really good job of having their own platform. Former NBA players, particularly in this topic. And with their own platform, we've seen a lot of podcasts. And look, man, I just left the house and Dan Patrick's talking about Jeff Teague's podcast. Like, that's like a crossover right there. But DP was like, I love Jeff Teague. He was a middling player, maybe a good player, but man, as a podcaster and a guy who tells stories, he's first rate. And so aside from those great podcasts and that content where it's usually three dudes chilling, hanging out, and they share stories that, organically will go on social media and really pop. So Brendan's just kind of whittled it down. He now has Cam. Can we give an example? This is called Tall Tales. Okay. So Brendan has an IG account called Tall Tales. I actually saw it before he and I had worked together a couple of times this year. But basically it's shorts of conversation he has with other NBA players. And some of them are just monologues, but Cam, let's run one of them if you wouldn't mind.
Second year, we about to go out before the game. They play in the club. The beat hits. Dun, 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 dun. The beat's so fire that Michael Jordan starts automatically dancing. Mike forgets he can't dance. Like Mike dance. Mike is a great basketball player. Can't dance to save his life. Right? But he ought, like, the beat hits, and he's like, oh! He gets like this old man shoulder shake type thing. I don't know what the hell Mike was doing. It was bad. I didn't like it. I didn't appreciate it. Me and Jared Jeffries look at each other, and we immediately start bawling out laughing. We are in each other's arms laughing at Mike dancing. Mike stops the dance, stares at us, and says, man, what y'all think so funny, huh? I have both. He said, I have both y'all traded to Vancouver. They don't even have a team no more.
And there are so many others like that. It's just those quick clips. He and I were working a game at Kansas State this year, and he had mentioned, like, man, I started to put some illustration over those, and they've gone bananas. So check that out. Give it a follow on Tall Tales if that's something you're into. Tallest Tales, excuse me. We're going to talk to Brendan a little bit. And the guy ain't just a content creator. He works for NBC. He'll be calling games for CBS and Turner in the NCAA tournament again this year. And if you know anything about broadcasting and how that works, that is rare air. He's probably one of the best analysts in basketball. And it's cool for us to be able to talk to him as he continues on his rise post-NBA. So it'll be a lot of fun talking to him. He's a real cool dude. And I want to start the show off talking about what I saw last night and the questions now that are getting answered for me in real time as I watch this college basketball season unfold. Number one, I feel as though, and I kind of screwed up. I was on with Drake Toll yesterday, and I'll fix this when I talk to him next. But I gave him my three best teams, and I didn't put Duke in there, right, which was a mistake, obviously. And I look now I'm not being a prisoner of the moment, I promise. Arizona and Duke feel as though they're on a collision course to play in the national title. And just a couple things I wrote down this morning, looking at Duke. So Duke's on a 7-game winning streak, right? And Cam, correct me if you know any of this because you're a weirdo with Duke. But they're on a 7-game winning streak, and their average margin of victory over that winning streak is 25 points a game. So that includes a win over Michigan, and that includes curb stomps. I hate that term. I shouldn't have said that, but it's gross, right? But it includes smacking around Pitt, Virginia. Every time you turn around, they're NC State last night. They beat by 29. They are embarrassing other members of the ACC. Cam, you want to say something?
No, I mean, I kind of think it's indictment might be a strong word on the depth of the ACC, though.
That's where we're going.
Like
okay.
They are just kicking the crap out of teams.
Yeah, no. And that's my point. See, Cam and I are more alike than we even care to realize. So historically,
to admit, I guess might be better on your end, Pete.
So they have been historically dominant over this stretch. And the thing about Duke and the ACC is when you look at the top, it's simple, right? Like, and we keep it simple here. Like when we have Jerry Palm will deal with the complexities. For me, I just kind of feel something. And then if I can find evidence to back it, of course, I'm going to share it with you guys. You look at the top 25 in the country, you have Duke number 1 and Arizona number 2. And the next ACC team is coming in at 13. I think it is Virginia. Yeah, who they just beat. They just waxed. And then you also have in the top 25 from the ACC, you got North Carolina, and I think that's it. Oh, Miami is in there around like 22. Okay, but like they're bottom level top 25. Like conversely, when you look at what Arizona is doing, okay, Arizona second in the country. They beat Iowa State at home last night. I saw that coming with my eyes closed. And I talked about it yesterday. That's Tommy Lloyd's 140th win at Arizona over 5 years. No coach in the history of basketball has reached that many wins in 5 years faster. No, never been done. Okay. So that speaks to the kind of guy that is the steward of that ship right now in Arizona. And the Big 12, this is where the questions I start to ask myself, right? Is and this is where you can get into this, and I'll bring you up in a second. Like, can the Big 12 be almost too tough for its own good? Like every time you turn around, it is a street fight, and as a fan, it takes a toll on me emotionally, almost so that. Like you turn around, Big Monday has been Big 12 Big Monday. And it's a blockbuster game. And emotionally, I'm like, God, I can't believe. I feel obligated as somebody who loves the conference. Like, I got to watch this game because 1, I love it. And 2, you know, I want to know what's going on. And a great way to get that education, right, is to watch Boog Shambi and Fran Fraschilla. Fran's telling you, you know, what deodorant the equipment guy wears. It's just like, and he does it in a way where he just kind of drops it in there. It's very appropriate. We're talking to Fran tomorrow, and I'm going to ask him some questions about that. Like, hey, I'm curious what his approach is as a basketball analyst. Like, he is an educator of the game, but at the same time, I feel like we're just riding with him watching it. But I believe Arizona's only issue now is what they're dealing with going through the Big 12. But I'll say this, like Stephen A. Smith says on First Take. Having said that, he said having said that 3 times this morning on one point. It shows, guys, you don't have to be like so polished to get on like network television. He must have said having said that 6 times before he finally asked Seth Greenberg the question. But I wonder if the physicality and the emotional toll on Arizona could be too much. And then I think to myself, well, wait a minute. This team, like Mo Krivas has put on, and I'm not trying to go like basketball hoops junkie on you, but you know, there's a 7'2", 260-pound guy playing for Arizona that could be the defensive player of the year. Could be. Last year he was limited because of injuries. He's put on a lot of weight, and now he's out there not only banging guys around, playing physical, but also making shots around the hoop, showing off a feathery touch. Then you have Koa Pete, who is like jacked inside. Tobe Awaka is the best offensive rebounder in the country. Because if you're the best offensive rebounder in the Big 12, in my opinion, you're probably the best offensive rebounder in the country, right? Barring a couple, okay. And then you think about their guards, man. We talked about it yesterday. Braden Burries is fantastic. Jaden Bradley is a senior with a ton of experience. Like, you know, it's pretty cool to see a couple guys who have returned to a school actually get honored on senior night. A couple guys who you are familiar with. Like most senior nights now in college basketball, it's either that's a walk-on, and unfortunately now the walk-on situation is getting so gross at big-time college schools. This is you can start up the little the YouTube short camera for this. College basketball in Power 4 schools in particular are finding wealthy young men who have parents who are willing to give enormous amounts of money to that school, right? And that's how they end up getting on the team. Now, I'm not saying these guys can't play basketball at all. Some of them are solid players. I'm not going to say any names or anything, but like a lot of times you can go to a big time college basketball game and see, you know, Johnny Watkins, right? The young white kid from a prep school in Northern California on the bench, and you see Johnny's dad sitting courtside. Like, that's real. And there's a lot of players who are getting muscled out by the Do-Re-Mi, Cam Stewart.
Is this like a Lori Loughlin situation? Are we uncovering this right now?
I don't know, but they're actually playing.
And Pete, this does not, unfortunately, doesn't surprise me. I'm wondering if this is one of those things that has been going on for a while, like on a smaller scale,
Cameron?
right? Like Sean Paliuka used to play for Duke. His dad was an owner of the Celtics. You know what I mean? Like, was this guy really that good? Was he good enough to play at Duke? Or did his dad own the Celtics? You know what I mean? Like,
and then they're in, but here's the story, right? You're right, and I'm right. The two things can be true at the same time. Now schools can talk about it. And what I mean is, if you, Cam Stewart, have a son who is two-star kid, but wants to play big-time college basketball, and his dream is going to Michigan, and he gets into Michigan, Dusty may talk to you and say, hey, look, we would love to have your kid on here. You're a Michigan alum. You play basketball with my brother or whatever, but I got this guy over here who's going to give me $30 million. I mean, that's a whatever. But, guys with FU money for his kid, it's like, sorry, like, he can be a manager. Like, I think that's happening. And I like it's so that is a walk-on.
And to that point, like, we could be talking about a guy who's like a 3-star who's getting offers at mid-majors and doesn't want to go to a mid-major. He wants to go to Carolina and test himself out or whatever. And that situation could be happening. We might not be talking about 2 scrubs. We might be talking about one that has a chance to have a role on the team someday that's getting muscled out because his parents aren't donating a library.
Kevin Fisher just weighed in. That's a great point. Like, the history of the walk-on deserves a documentary. I go back and we talked to Jay Wright about it last week. When Villanova beat Illinois in that second round game in '88 to go to the Elite Eight or Sweet 16 at the time, then they beat Kentucky, and then they eventually lost to Oklahoma, who will go to the Final Four. They had a walk-on named Pat Enright, and Rocky Enright comes off the bench and sticks a 3 because everybody was in foul trouble. It was awesome. And that's like, maybe you'll see that today, but if you do, you're going to have, a hefty price tag to pay if you want your kid back to play another year, if you're Mr. Enright. So that was interesting, but just an interesting thought I had. But to go back to Arizona, I think you look at the way that they play and how physically imposing they are. Like, Tommy Lloyd mentioned it after the game. And to me, this is ridiculous, right? That this is even a conversation. Anybody that's calling Arizona soft, right? You immediately, to me, identify yourself as somebody who has not watched much college basketball. And look, I've done that myself, right? You're in a conversation, you're BSing. Maybe you're on the air, right? And you're trying to carry a conversation and you act like you know a little more than you do. You weigh in on a topic that you have no business weighing in on, i.e. me talking to my fiance about the war in Iran or whatever's going on over the weekend. That's when I get napalmed, not any foreign country. I can promise you the missile strikes are underway and I'm tapping out right away. Uneducated, shouldn't be talking about it. You got to know your lane, right? So if you're telling me that Arizona's soft, it's like Pete Sousa telling me exactly why we're launching airstrikes over in Iran. I need to know that you're not coming to me for that information. I identify myself as someone who is not closely affiliated with politics. We'll leave that for Chris Visser and maybe even Cam Stewart. Right now, before we take a break, Cam, let's welcome in a new sponsor. What do you think about that?
Why are people coming to me for politics?
You might. You're just. You know what it is. I know you sit with Grace at home a lot.
Yeah. You think I'm listening?
And you talk a lot of smack, dude. And I think that there is very little there's a stream of conscience that we have with our partners and best friends.
Yeah.
That I think sometimes, and that's where it's kind of chicken shit of them to call us out sometimes, to be honest, because mostly it's a event session where it's like all of a sudden you get called on the carpet and this is 60 minutes. I'm like, I'm just sitting in my living room.
Yeah.
Trying to watch the news and talk a little smack.
Yeah. Or like it comes down to me either making jokes, right? And then some things are just, there's this invisible line that I don't know still after all these years.
When you cross it, you're in trouble, right?
About it. Yeah.
What did she say?
I just don't see why it's a joke. I just don't. This is real life. This is happening. We have this privilege that it doesn't happen to us, but it is happening. And the other thing is like, it's different from me. I would say I'm pretty apolitical at this point, but she's pretty different from me in that realm. And so I ask all the time. I'm like, all right, you got to give me the company line here. Like, what is the justification of this? Why am I seeing this on my Twitter? All right, like, to me, this is a huge reach. Please give me your side of the story here, or your people's side of the story, your voters' side of the story here. There's a lot of that. I like to think I ask questions.
That's good. I do too. And I'm open-minded. Sometimes the people...
Doesn't mean I agree, but I'm just like, all right, that's still dumb, but I understand now better what the point is here. So.
All right, let's do our new sponsor real quick before we take a break, because I ain't making Brendan wait. He's 7'2" and like a shredded 250. All right, let's go. Bumblebee Blinds of Waco. You see it right there. And Temple. We're all over Central Texas. One-stop shop for custom window treatments, specializing in shades, blinds, shutters, and curtains. I mean, by the way, if you're a bachelor and you have no clue how to put up curtains or blinds, this is a spot for you. They make it easy, right? There are a lot of big-time, like, standards behind this stuff, right? And you can actually get with a consultant today, a design consultant, and they can walk you through exactly what you're looking for. It doesn't mean you're going to overhaul your entire first floor, right? Like, it means you're looking for blinds. Bumblebee Blinds of Waco and Temple. You got to make sure you check them out, especially like when I was working on the morning news, the sun would come splashing in at like till 8:30 in July. I couldn't fall asleep. Who do you do? What do? You call Bumblebee Blinds. Tell them what you need. I need the blackout. They got you. Bumblebee Blinds. Make sure you check them out. Make sure, and you can go to bumblebeeblinds.com, by the way. All right, we're going to go to break. Coming back with Brendan Haywood. If Brendan's late, he's allowed to be late because he's Brendan Haywood, but I did text him last night and told him thanks. And he responded. So, looking forward to B Wood on the other side of the break. The Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovakics.
Bumblebee Blinds of Waco and Temple is your one-stop shop for custom window treatment, transforming your vision into reality. Choose from a selection of shades, blinds, shutters, and curtains. Bumblebee Blinds stands behind our service and products, ensuring peace of mind with our trusted warranty. Call Bumblebee Blinds today to schedule your design consultation. Bumblebee Blinds, simplifying window treatments one covering at a time. BumblebeeBlinds.com.
Hey, it's Zach Gelb. We're talking NFL and college football. Plus, we have some of the biggest interviews in sports media. You got to check out the Zach Gelb Show right here on 365 Sports, weekdays, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 to 3 p.m. Central. And make sure you subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/@ZachGelbShow.
Save big during the Start Something New sales event at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Drive a new Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cab with $13,000 off, or choose 0% financing. Get a new Laramie Crew Cab 4-wheel drive with 3.9% financing for 72 months, plus $15,000 off MSRP. Explore in a new Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo, starting at $31,990. Happening now at Allen Samuels.
Come by. Let's be friends. Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
If you want a Boston sports show that's going to insult you as a fan and only cares about getting back at their old hosts or who Bill Belichick is dating, then keep tuning your radio. But if you want a sports show that's wicked good, wicked smart, wicked passionate, then you need the Wicked Boston Show with me, Cam Stewart. It is the only Boston sports talk show that is by the fans and for the fans. One voice in this city where the only BS is Boston sports. The Wicked Boston Show.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
The Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovacics. Thank you guys for checking us out today. And if you're checking us out today, if you watched early in the show, I played with you. We shared with you a clip from my man Brendan Haywood's Tallest Tales social media account on Instagram that you got to check out. And without further ado, we got to bring up the big fella himself, Brendan Haywood, joining us now. What's up, B-Wood?
What's going on with you, my main man, Pete? What's going on, man?
Look at this guy. He's too good looking to be 7 feet. That's the truth right there, right? He's as smooth as they come.
That's what they say. That's what the streets are saying. I won't deny it. I won't fight them on it.
Are you home in Charlotte now?
Yeah, I'm home in Charlotte, yeah.
Okay. What do you have lined up coming up later this week?
I actually got to leave today. I got Ohio State, Penn State on Wednesday. So I got because you my guy. That's the reason why.
That's my man. Brendan, I appreciate you taking the time. You played over 1,000 games between the NBA and college, which is hard to believe when, again, being the big man that you are. And I was digging in the crate because I want to talk some March Madness with you a little. And your 2000 NCAA tournament run was elite. You go to the Final Four. I got it right here. You average 16, 10, and 3 blocks. You had 28 against Missouri. You didn't miss a shot from the floor. In the semis, you guys lose to Florida, but you have 20 and 12. My big question for you now, thinking modern day NBA, how come you didn't leave after that year?
You know what? The reason I didn't leave was because, and I really considered leaving, but I had these little loose bodies in my knee. So when I was training for the draft, my knee started swelling up. And when I went to see the doctor, they were like, yo, you're going to need to get these things taken out and get your knee drained or whatever. And so I didn't want to go into the draft process not 100% because I wouldn't have been able to train like I wanted to. And so ultimately, that's the way I came back. If I didn't have those loose bodies in my knee, I would have been gone. It's a simple cleanup procedure, but I would have been out of shape when I was going to the draft workouts, and I didn't want to present myself like that.
Yeah, well, it worked out okay either way. I do want to ask you about Duke Carolina coming up this week real quick. Did you have a moment? I mean, I still feel like, especially as good as Duke is this year, and Carolina's ranked top 20, did you have a moment when the magnitude of that matchup hit you, like almost like a welcome to Duke Carolina moment? I know you followed, obviously, the rivalry as a kid, but being on the inside of it has to be different.
Yeah, being on the inside of it is different. It's the fan bases are like that week. The fan bases are going crazy. Like I can only imagine what it is now because we didn't really have the internet like that. Like there wasn't no Twitter or whatever X, whatever they're calling it. There was no Instagram threads, none of that. But you just knew by word of mouth that when it was Duke versus Carolina week, it was different. The fan bases were talking trash, and everybody couldn't wait to watch the game. The excitement when you walk in the gym, the energy was just different. So having that experience was great because, like I said, man, you walk in, there's no other rivalry like that. Like NC State wants to be Carolina's rival. When you walk into the gym, it ain't like that when you play. Like it's not. No disrespect to State fans, but it's just not that. Wake Forest wants to be Carolina's rival. When you walk in the building, it ain't that type of energy. When it's Duke Carolina, the energy and the tension is at an all-time high.
Yeah, I feel like it still has the juice. And one of the reasons I touched on it is because Duke is so good this year. And you and I have done Big 12 games. And obviously we saw a ton of good players. Obviously AJ DeBonsa being one of them. But when you look at what Cam Boozer's doing, as a fellow big guy, put his season and the way he plays into context for us.
Well, Cam Boozer's having an incredible season. And it's probably one of the better seasons I've seen ever from a freshman. And I'm not saying it's the best. I'm just saying that I've seen. Because first of all, he's definitely going to be ACC Player of the Year as a freshman. Might be National Player of the Year as a freshman. All the expectations, he's met them. He's Duke's best scorer. He's their best rebounder. And Pete, he's their best passer. Like, go look at his assist numbers. 4 assists a game. He's averaging more assists than some of your favorite point guards. Darren Peterson don't average 4 assists. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so that's where it might not get 4 minutes in the second half either, but that's another story. but the fact of the matter is when you look at Cam Boozer and what he's doing, he's affecting all aspects of the game. He can score it inside, corner 3, top of the key 3. And then the biggest thing that I think a lot of people aren't taking into account that me and you know firsthand, when I played college basketball as a freshman, I was playing against other young players, 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds, maybe a 21-year-old. These guys now, they're playing against grown men. They're playing against 25-year-olds, 24-year-olds, guys that have been in college for 5 to 6 years. Like, when you watch Cam Boozer going out there and doing what he's doing against this new brand of college basketball, a lot of the guys that he plays against can buy alcohol and rent cars and houses legally. Okay, it's a different brand of basketball. So when you see a freshman like Cam Boozer dominating like this, don't gloss over it at all. That means he is elite.
Now, Duke's run right now, we were talking about it before you came on. They've won 7 straight, averaged about 25 points a win in those 7 victories, one of them against Michigan, a lot obviously against conference opponents. Is there a lack of depth in the ACC that has buoyed Duke somewhat this year? Like, I'm not saying they're in for a rude awakening because we saw them take it to Michigan, but it's a slugfest in the Big 12, right? Like, it's a little lighter in the ACC. That's at least my opinion. What do you say, somebody who actually knows what the hell's going on?
Well, I do think iron sharpens iron. And so I think when you're a team that's been in the Big 12, like if you're a team like Houston and you've had to play Kansas and you've had to play Iowa State, you've had to play BYU, all these tough teams, you understand what it's not just one tough game every once in a while. You got tough games on a nightly basis, and it just makes you better. Doesn't mean that Duke isn't still good, but you're not going to be as battle tested. And the one area where Duke might feel a little bit of strain in the NCAA tournament is when they get battle tested and they got to rely on their guards, because these Duke guards ain't the Duke guards that you grew up watching. You know what I'm saying? Like Jake Will and Chris Duhon and Will Avery and the point guards from yesteryear, they not on this team. So when you start seeing, if you see Duke falter in the tournament, I think it will be because of the guard play. This is like their best passer is their power forward. Their
Yeah.
second best passer is the center. like it's wild times. But
That's a great point because
they are an elite team though.
Watching Arizona last night, like their guards are monsters. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. And Arizona can play up front too. I've got one more basketball story, a question for you, like as we get to basketball, and I'll kind of lead us into. I really love the tallest tales, but you have mentioned, your years in DC. That was like a real colorful time for you, right? So a lot of stories come from your 9 years playing for the Wiz. But when you think about your career, you won a title in 2011, had a big role on that team. You don't talk about that too much. I would only imagine because stuff was probably buttoned up there a little more and there wasn't as much crazy stuff. But what about that 2011 team do people not know? Because that was a special squad, dude. And what it did, we're right up the road here in Dallas. Like, it did a lot for this city, for the community, for Mavs fans. What did it mean to you? Well, actually, not what did it mean to you. What do people not know about that team? And then you can say what it meant to you.
Well, first off, I have more stories about DC because dysfunction, unfortunately, creates more stories. So we had a lot more stability in Dallas. I learned a lot more as a basketball player in Dallas. But I'm trying to think something that you wouldn't know. The thing that you wouldn't know behind the scenes is because that Dallas team was a little older and you had guys that had already been all-stars, some of the guys that had already been paid. It was a lot easier for that whole team to sacrifice. Like a lot of guys weren't happy with their role necessarily, but they were willing to sacrifice because they had done everything except win. Like you look at a guy like Sean Marion, he was an all-star when he was playing in Phoenix. He comes to Dallas and they say, "Hey, we want you to play more of a role." That's humbling for a guy like him. But he's like, you know what? I've been an all-star. I've got the big contract, so I'll sacrifice. I'll do less to achieve more. Or you look at somebody like Jason Terry. Yeah, listen, he could definitely shoot more and score more. But hey, listen, this is the role you need me to play. That's fine. He had to share the ball on the second team a lot more with JJ Barea. That was something he wasn't used to. Like I was used to starting in DC. Now I'm coming off the bench behind Tyson Chandler. Like everybody that was in that rotation, for the most part, except for Dirk, he got to do what he wanted to do. Everybody else sacrificed, and we came together to do something that was absolutely special. That 2011 team, in my mind, is the greatest finals run in NBA history. When you go back and look at it.
When you mentioned Tyson Chandler, even like you had a pretty big role on that team. He's the second pick in the draft, right? We were kind of always waiting for Chandler to pop, and he really kind of did in Dallas. But he deferred to you a lot too. A presence coming off the bench, like that was all. It really was so cohesive. All right. Well, your tallest tales reveals like it wasn't cohesive everywhere. Some of the stuff you got on there. I mean, the Deshaun Stevenson stuff with LeBron is amazing. And what you do, anybody can be like, oh, there was a beef, whatever. These tallest tales, you take us into the club where it started. Like nobody has access to that stuff. Yeah. Like what moved you to start this? And how much fun are you having doing it?
So basically, I love stories. And if you listen to my storytelling, I'm pretty good at storytelling.
Very good.
And so basically, I was watching some of these stories where they were talking about some of the rappers and the R&B singers and all the stuff that goes in behind the scenes. And it was set to animation, and I loved it. And I said, you know what? Nobody really does that from the basketball standpoint. So I said, I said, there's 1,001 people telling stories, but they're not telling the stories the way I can with the animation. And I just tried it. And I think the first one was the LeBron James, Deion Waiters story, where basically the Cavs traded Deion Waiters in the middle of the national anthem, which is a true story. And so I had told that story years ago, and it got like, whatever amount of likes, let's say 5,000 views or whatever, 10,000. But then I put the animation on it and it went to like 500,000 views. And so I started realizing, oh, well, people like this and I want to give the consumer what they like. And so I just started naturally doing what I do well. I have a very good memory and I can paint a picture. I can almost make you feel like you were there. And as I do that, and then I have the animation behind the story, it just gives you a different feel, a unique feel that you can't find in at a lot of other places where they're telling stories. So that's where my story's Tallest Tales is kind of unique. Go to my Instagram page, bwood_33, and check it out. Make sure you like and share. And then eventually we're going to actually start doing some of those stories in long form on YouTube.
Oh, look at you. I see this. I love it. A content creator, a maven, an amazing analyst. Yo, do you mind if we play one of these right now? I want to play the MJ one.
Go ahead.
All right, let's pop it up,
We
Cam.
about to go out before the
more.
game. They play in the club. The beat hits. Dun, 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 dun. The beat's so fire that Michael Jordan starts automatically dancing. Mike forgets he can't dance. Like Mike dancing. Mike is a great basketball player. Can't dance to save his life. Right? But he on like the beat hits, and he's like, oh! He gets like this old man shoulder shake type thing. I don't know what the hell Mike was doing. It was bad. I didn't like it. I didn't appreciate it. Me and Jared Jeffries look at each other, and we immediately start bawling out laughing. We are in each other's arms laughing at Mike dancing. Mike stops the dance, stares at us, and says, man, what y'all think so funny, huh? I have both. He said, I have both y'all traded to Vancouver. They don't even have a team no more.
So, and that stuff obviously really happened. What was that moment like for you?
It was wild because it was just that the story happened just like that. That's the one thing about Tallest Tales. I'm not adding anything to the story. So basically, like I said, if you were around at that time when that song "In the Club" by 50 Cent came out, it was the hottest thing ever, and everybody started dancing when it came on. So we're about to run out, and they play the song, and it's just so mesmerizing that Mike got to dancing. And for real, Mike is one of the greatest. He is the greatest basketball player of all time. He is the worst dancer you've ever seen in your life. But the song's so hot, he forgot. And so, like, Mike all of a sudden, like, oh, he starts doing something like this right here. And me and Jared Jeffries, we like, yo, what the hell is that? And we are crying. The one thing that you don't know about Michael Jordan, he does not like to be laughed at all. At all. And so when he sees us laughing, he got the big eyes, and he just starts staring at us. And then he literally said that, like, yo, what the hell y'all think is so funny? I'll have both y'all sent to Vancouver, packed up tonight, and they don't even have a team no more. We were like, hey, you got it, big fella, you got it. You got it. You know what? We were out of line.
What about, and this, I'll let you go after I got two more for you. What about the Tyson one? And this is what I appreciate about you. 7'2", built like Adonis. But you're saying, hey, Mike Tyson's ready to throw hands. I'm out of there. He had an interest in a date of yours. And this stuff, you're right in the middle of this, and you share what's going on in your mind real time. That had to be terrifying.
It was terrifying because I didn't see it coming. Like the date that I was with that night, I kind of saw Mike staring at her when we were in the club, but I was like, maybe Mike just think he know her from somewhere. I don't know. And so when I'm walking out, I don't see Mike. I'm thinking the coast is clear. And next thing you know, this SUV pulls up. And I don't know if you've ever met Mike Tyson in person.
No, never.
He has like a regular person's body, but he got like Yao Ming's head. He got this, like his head is, I was like, so it's kind of intimidating. And then it's Iron Mike, he low-key crazy. And so when I see him stick his head out that window of that black SUV when it pulls up in front of us, and he's telling my date, yo, come here. Yo, shorty, come here. I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do because I want to stand up. My ego says, man, you should say something to Mike. My smart says, if he get out this car, it could be trouble. And I'm not willing to find out if I can beat Mike Tyson. Boxers are dangerous, bro. Their hands are licensed weapons. I remember what he did. What's that boxer, Mitch Blood Green?
Mitch Blood Green in the street.
Yeah, beat him up in the street. I wasn't trying to be Mitch Blood Green. So I just froze. And as Mike was talking to the girl, I just started looking up in the air, and she's looking at me, and I'm just like, hopefully if I just keep looking up, Mike won't see the fear in my eyes. But I'm terrified. I'm not afraid to admit I was terrified. Like, I had never seen nobody just walk up and try to check me for the girl that I was with in my face. I didn't know what to do. It's Iron Mike.
And then what'd the girl do? This is the best part.
Man, she kept looking at me because I guess she thought I was gonna say something. She was sadly mistaken. She had the wrong guy. I'm not that. Hey Pete, I'm not that guy. And so anyway, eventually Mike pulls off, and she looks at me and she's like, "Why didn't you say something?" I'm like, "It's self-explanatory. It's Mike Tyson." And she was a little offended, and she basically starts walking one way, and I try to walk her to her car, and then she turned around and she's like, "Hey man, don't try to be a hero now," and just kept it pushing. And I never talked to her again. And Mike ruined my night. I never talked to the girl again. She probably to this day still thinks I'm a punk. But I'm okay with that because my face is still intact.
And it's a hell of a story. Brendan Haywood, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you so much. And I do want to pay you this compliment. You're an amazing analyst, but you're also, if you watch one of your games, like I'm sure everybody has, you're the kind of guy people actually want to like hang out with after the game. You have that regular dude feel. So your work is tremendous. I look forward to hanging with you and working with you again. But Brendan Haywood, man, thank you for the time. I know how busy you are.
Hey, man, appreciate you for having me on, man. Look forward to coming back on.
All right. Talk to you soon, B-Wood.
Thank you.
Brendan Haywood. He's about as real as it gets, too. There's no wall with him. Like, if you're around him, you're getting the real Brendan Haywood, and you can see the real Brendan Haywood. It's pretty goddamn cool. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, talk to you a little bit about the NBA on NBC, a throwback. The Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovaceks, coming back after this.
Bumblebee Blinds of Waco and Temple is your one-stop shop for custom window treatment, transforming your vision into reality. Choose from a selection of shades, blinds, shutters, and curtains. Bumblebee Blinds stands behind our service and products, ensuring peace of mind with our trusted warranty. Call Bumblebee Blinds today to schedule your design consultation. Bumblebee Blinds, simplifying window treatments one covering at a time. BumblebeeBlinds.com.
Looking for football talk without the fluff? It's Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell, a former NFL quarterback breaking down the game from the inside, plus real conversations about sports, leadership, life, and everything in between. No hot takes for clicks, just honest analysis, strong opinions, and stories you won't hear anywhere else. Football talk and more, the way it's supposed to be. Subscribe now to Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell on YouTube.
It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
Experience with the Mosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
MosleyMD.com.
Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GOLFPARTNERUSA.com. Golf Partner. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress, that helps you calm down and feel better. You sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more.
It's the Pete Sousa Show.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Hi, my name is Mike Lacey. I'm with Beyond the Game, a new podcast to the Rogue Media Network. Just when you thought you'd had a little bit too much about BYU, here we are to provide you even a little bit more. I, as part of the BYU group, am grateful that we're part of the Big 12 and really grateful that we're part of the Rogue Media Network. Thank you.
It is the Pete Sousa Show. We are presented by Slovaceks. Also, Lake Waco Golf Club has a hand in making all this happen. A semi-private facility. It is nestled along the north plain of Lake Waco. One of the newest facilities, by the way, in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course, as well as an executive. It's an executive, so you won't see me out there. An 18-hole par 3 golf course. Actually, you might see me out there. That's the only way I won't take 6 hours. Plus, and Cam loves this, bellying up to the bar and grill in there is a lot of fun. Cam will usually take about maybe half a gummy and go in there and have a couple beers. And he doesn't know, but he's the worst chemist. What?
Sometimes a full gummy, because then I get hungrier and I like their food there. So it works out for both me and Lake Waco Golf Club. Just saying.
Guy is a team player. And also, if you're a team player, take whoever you play with into the pro shop and hook them up. Because the pro shop's someplace you got to check out too. I always like to say, this goes back to Bill Self. He doesn't play his friends for money because some of the guys he plays with, he says, they get ridiculous, right? Like you hear like a $5 Nassau somewhere thrown out, and then you're on the 12th hole, and there's a putt for like $1,500. So what does Bill Self do? Well, if you win, he'll get you something from the pro shop. That's what you should do at Lake Waco Golf Course. All right, make sure you check it out. Lake Waco Golf Club. I'm always. What's up, Cam?
I was gonna say you could get a great quarter zip in there, and as we know, Pete, your people, Villanova, has recently been dubbed the quarter zip capital of the world.
It was
so look, you want to dress like Pete Sousa?
It was the PGA of America, but Villanova is the same way.
Yeah, no, the one I sent you was the guy who was, I think it was Providence fan going down to Villanova and was like, I think you need to have a quarter zip to get in here. But yes, you're right. The quarter zip capital of the world, as you know, is in that Frisco, right? Or Plano.
Yes, it is. But that's a good call, Cam. I do remember that. Well, back to Lake Waco, Cameron.
Yes.
Make sure you check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information. Just make sure you go there. And you can thank our good friend Stephanie Beatty. She continues to have this. The sponsors are rolling in, bro. Rolling in.
Yeah. New one this week. Lake Waco's been great to us, man. We just keep on churning them out here at 365.
Look at this guy. By the way, I do want to do one that is something about, I don't want to ask Brendan about this because it's not like he's a recruiting guru, but it is interesting how, all those teams in that area, what do they call it? The trifecta, the Tri-City?
Macco Road is what I would have called those four in Carolina. But
so, by the way, you want to know how old I am? Brendan's second game in his college basketball career, I was the play-by-play guy. It was actually Dean Smith, for some wacky reason, scheduled a home and home. Actually, I think I know why, because he was going to retire.
Yes.
I think it was actually Phil Guthridge.
Yeah, because I think Haywood would have gotten there right after Dean.
Yeah, so like Dean did the home and home, but knew better than to take the trip to Richmond. They came to Richmond, smacked us around, but I was on the student radio station. I've already talked about that.
And how about Brendan talking about those guards that he used to play against at Duke, and he named 3 of them, and I was like, that might have covered all 4 of his years at Carolina.
Yeah,
like that. if you had a guy who played 4 years at the same school now, which is already an anomaly, like to go up to name the guards he played against a certain team, you'd need like 8 or 10 just to get through now with the portal. But like
it's pretty
William
crazy.
Avery, Jason
but
Williams.
I'm going to lean back on what I said earlier about Arizona. I think it's quite possible that they can dip into some of that chemistry, right? That they've developed over years. I mean, you've got like 5 key contributors on that team who have come back, you know, and
it's a weapon, man.
And here's what I want to say,
but
I'm kind of scared to say. I think Tommy Lloyd could coach circles around John Shire. I believe that. And I'm not saying that John Shire isn't on his way to becoming an elite coach. Clearly, he has mastered the transition of power, unlike we've ever seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, the guy Gene Bartow, who took over for John Wooden, I think was so flummoxed by the situation at UCLA, he just started up his own program at UAB. He was like, let me get out of here. I'm going to start up a whole other basketball program. It's a lot of pressure.
There's an interesting debate. We'll have to do this sometime. There's an interesting debate who the best coach in the Big 12 is. We can go off a resume. We can go off of
Cam. You've opened up a can of worms here.
A Pandora's box, man. There's so many different, real quick.
Please.
Like the obvious answer is Bill Self when you look at the resume, right? The 2 national championships, a couple more Final Fours. But like the cases that Tommy Lloyd and Kelvin Sampson put up are pretty good. Like if you're just going by like talent, peak kind of thing. And that is not including a national championship head coach who's done probably the greatest turnaround in college basketball history in Scott Drew. You can go for days on this.
Well, TJ Otzelberger,
Bobby Hurley,
Grant McCaslin.
It becomes a game of like, who would you want?
Yeah.
Like if your coach left tomorrow, who would you want? And that becomes a really interesting one in the Big 12.
Who would you want? Because we've officially ruled out Self and Kelvin because I think that they're late in their careers,
and they're old.
Yeah.
And Scott Drew's not that far from that, right? If I'm talking about who I want for my program,
I think that Scott is out for me because of the makeup of college basketball. We've talked about this forever. So it's hard to build a team like that. So I'm passing on Scott.
I'm looking at Lloyd and McCaslin. And Otzelberger gets a shout for sure. But those are the 2 guys I'm looking at.
And
I might go McCaslin, if we're being honest.
I like Grant more. I mean, just as a guy, but that's just me because he's nicer to me. Tommy Lloyd did never.
Baylor guy. That's why
he's and I've stood with him, and talked to him for a while. I've only had a couple Arizona games, but like Tommy Lloyd was just like, oh, okay, guys, see ya. He was just like, he wasn't really into it, but that has an impact.
Yeah.
McCaslin thinks I'm a psycho. Anybody that's seen me drink, as you guys have.
Well,
we were at media day, not alcohol.
Yeah. Oh,
we were at media day. And I was nervous, and kind of my nervous tick is to like find something to do because it was my first day with NBC, and there was like a bottle of water in the hallway, so I'm drinking it, but I must have been like taking this water to the face, like
you do that, Pete. You're intense.
And so McCaslin walks by, and he's kind of doing this number like, I know this guy's name, I definitely know him as an announcer, and he gets it. He goes, Pete, taking care of that water, huh? And just keeps walking. I was like, oh my God. He
By
was
the way,
like,
probably
bro.
looking up at you, right?
Yeah,
bit.
definitely. But the thing about him is he looks up.
Yeah.
He looks up at like Isaiah Austin and would be like, you need to do like he is.
Well, yeah.
He's not afraid though, dude. Yeah. Like he tells a story once, and I'll say this, it doesn't matter, that Isaiah Austin was. Him and King were talking, and I was there. And Isaiah Austin, at one point, playing for Baylor, had just had enough of Coach Drew. They were kind of like, they were having it out. And McCaslin's like, Coach Drew could handle anything. But I had the office right next to him. And he said, Austin is in there one day. And Grant McCaslin just hears like from the other room, like, yo, you ain't a real one, coach. You ain't a real one. And Grant's like, he could tell he heard Scott kind of like, and Grant's like, do I need to get up and go in there? And Grant said he just kind of poked his head in like, hey, guys, what's going on? Like, everything cool? Like, how about that game last night? Like,
How we
it's just
doing, huh?
Yeah.
Joy in here?
And that's why the tallest tail stuff is amazing, right?
Dude, that is a skill.
Yeah.
By the way, Brendan Haywood, like that is an incredible skill.
He's a real bright guy, and he doesn't take himself too
storyteller.
seriously. He's a perfect combo.
Because like I would say that Pete, you're a really good storyteller, and I know when you go to parties and stuff, if you're not because it's not like a common skill to be good at telling stories. Some of my best friends have great stories, but they just can't tell them. And you go to a party and you're like, oh man, I could make some money off this. Just give me the content of your story. I can tell it at a party. Brendan Haywood would be like the top of the cameo list. You know what I mean? Like that dude would be expensive because he's so good at telling stories.
Yes, and he's experienced. Like the Mike Tyson thing, that's a throwaway night for him, right? Think about that. Those guys see and have experiences that, they're just in rooms we don't operate in.
Yeah.
The storytelling thing, when you start to get old, and I guess you do it too. Now I have crossed over to I'm too tired and old to tell the stories unless I'm really teed up. So I'm usually not going out of my way. Plus I don't drink anymore. So I'm not like, hey,
Right. Right.
But I'll tell a kick-ass story at a party. And then you have the judgment of others and their lack of storytelling ability, which if my fiance, we need like a hourglass to turn over, because it's like, I'm like, oh God. Like, and I try to help her along. Yeah. And when I help her along, I don't want to seem like a dick because these are people maybe she hasn't met. So I'm like, oh, come on, get to it. You got to be careful. And you got to remember that just not every story is going to be great. And it doesn't matter what I think, right? People are going to be people. But I need to come back to the more enjoyment of storytelling.
Yeah.
You're
good at it.
Basically, because, and you have this in you as a young man, wherever I go, I'm just trying to get home. You know what I mean?
Yes. I have a lot of that in me. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk
there's
NBC
definitely a thing
real
like
quick.
with the crowd too. Like,
what's that?
You always got to be wary of your crowd too. Like, there's a good amount of my good stories that just aren't going to land in every crowd. They're just not.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So anyway.
All right, I'm going to talk about NBC real quick. This is pretty cool. Cam, can you put this picture up? So tonight is the night, folks. NBC, look at this. This was, now, as a Philadelphian, if I would have walked in this restaurant like last night, I would have had a coronary episode. Like, you've got Jim Gray. Let me look it up. I'm going to look at it because I'm blind. Hold on. I just sent it to you, Cam. So I got it right here. Nice message. Here's Cam Stewart. Wow, I've texted a lot of people since you, Cam. All right, so you got PJ Carlesimo on the far left, Jim Gray, Hannah Storm, who's just still forever the crush, Bob Costas, Doug Collins, Isaiah Thomas, and Mike Fratello, the czar of the telestrator. Now, a couple things, right? There was, no Marv Alberts, and I don't know what Marv is up to. I know he's alive, but that's fine. And Costas was the last year. Costas did the MJ shot, the last time the NBA was on NBC prior to this year. Costas was on the call for that. And the one thing I've heard a little scuttlebutt that like Peter Vesey is pissed off that he hasn't been invited. And that was I wouldn't call it a glaring absence, but it's an absence. I mean, he was a huge part of that team. Now, what the hell are you going to use Peter Vesey for? Like, you're an insider, dude, who is officially on the outside. Well, are you going to, okay, what are you going to do? Right? Like, maybe they have him on in the studio to like, I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him to come up with a story nowadays, but I was a little taken aback by, hey, it's a celebration, NBA on NBC. And then it's like, where the hell's Peter Vesey? I'm like, really? Like, this is enjoyable. I love Peter Vesey. He started up the Hoops du Jour. When I started working in Charlotte, we had a paid service. Like the Hoops du Jour thing that he wrote for the New York Post eventually became paywall. And so the rumors were considered so good among people in the NBA, like you had to have access to this. And then he just kind of whatever. I know he was he was a lot of fun, and this is partially the reason why I'm going to guess that he's not there, is because he was a complete SHIT stirrer. And I mean, on the air, I can remember him saying something about Mike Fratello and his tenure at the Cavs and how they didn't score any points, and that's why they sucked. And Vessi's just saying this to Fratello's face, and Fratello was like, yeah, that's not cool. You know, and they go to break. I mean, so maybe some of these guys, the irony of it is Isaiah Thomas was jettisoned from the Dream Team for the same reason, and he's a part of this team. So really, how bad is Peter Vessi? How toxic is the guy? Who knows? But Jim Gray, who we met at the Super Bowl, it's actually cool to see because I'll tell you something. This is a come down for Jim Gray right now, if you can believe it or not. Jim Gray is in rooms with billionaires. Like, he really doesn't get out of bed if it's not for like Michael Jordan or Tom Brady. But here he's going to be. He's a regular guy in Philadelphia having dinner before this Spurs-Sixers game tonight. One other thing that I am extremely pleased about. There has been a recent run for Bob Costas that has been attached to the comeback of the NBA on NBC. And let me tell you, justice has been served. And I say that because the clutching of the pearls and the whining and the crying from Major League Baseball fans, specifically Yankee fans, okay? When Costas called that last, what would be, as far as we're concerned right now, but I wouldn't put it past him to make another comeback. What we think was his last baseball series, he was calling the Royals, I think it was the Royals and the Yankees, and the Yankees ended up winning the series. You know, and there was a lot of heat coming on Costas' coming his way during the entire series. We actually have my man Nick Picked on, who we'll be having on soon again, our baseball insider from New York City. And Nick he would go on these tangents about why Bob Costas sucks so bad. It's not that deep. The problem was a couple times, you know, he was in the crosshairs, right? And then he did make a mistake, not like a mistake that I wouldn't make or like Joe Buck might make, but it was a little surprising. It was like, I think the top of the ninth, and he started on you could tell he hadn't quite emptied the chamber out, and he had a story he wanted to tell. And he started to go into this long story, and Yankee fans were like, dude, are you serious? Like, any pitch now, we could win this thing, and you're waxing poetic about Phil Rizzuto going to, you know, Dinky Donuts and seeing Joe DiMaggio. Like, it was wild. So and then he retired after that from, you know, calling baseball, and people were all over him. This guy is a legend. And yes, Bob Costas can be extremely highbrow at times. He has earned the right to be highbrow. He truly has. He's a wonder kind. If you want to go back and watch the ABA documentary, he's featured in that. I mean, fresh out of college, he's the one Syracuse guy that he kind of was at the head of that Syracuse revolution, right? And Bob Costas has never struck me or you or anybody else to be somebody he's not, which is exactly what you get out of most of these Syracuse guys that come out of the, hey, how you doing? This is Cam Stewart. Tonight on the call, it's me. I'm like, what are they? Anyways, you can tell there's resentment there, deep resentment, because I wasn't good enough to play football at Syracuse, where I would have liked to have embarked on a journey in the communications field there. So we got a late start. What are you going to do? But yeah, Costas is the best. And I do appreciate seeing him have the opportunity to kind of go out on top. That would be pretty cool. And here we go. If anyone ever had the chance to meet Bob Costas in person, you would know that he is really a good guy. Thank you very much, Chris Visser. I mean, and I can only imagine how many interactions Visser had with Bob Costas. And Chris, don't even try it. I saw Bob Costas went on that guy, Graham Bensinger, right? Who just put out a pod with Stephen A. Smith. This Bensinger guy, I don't know who he's got dirty pictures of, but he can get every single huge celebrity to sit down with him and do this interview. Like, it's like he had access to the Epstein files before they came out. Like, so he's sitting with Stephen A. Smith yesterday. He sat with Bob Costas not too long ago, but during the beginning of the interview, Costas was like, Jesus Christ, you were all over me. and maybe that's why. But Costas was he shared how annoyed he was with this dude at the beginning of the interview, which went amazing. So the guy is very good. But yeah, I'm happy to see this. I'll definitely be checking it out tonight. Hannah Storm, I just don't understand. If you have a problem with Hannah Storm, there's no way we could be, I can't, that wouldn't work. That's like if you hang out with somebody and they're like, man, I hate Denzel Washington. It's like, I don't think this is going to work out. Like there's a couple things. You could say stuff about politics I wouldn't respond to. That would be radioactive on either side. You talk about Hannah Storm, you've got an enemy initially, right away. Okay. Tomorrow, we're welcoming Fran Fraschilla to the show. And I do want to take a moment as we wrap things up today to give a tip of the cap to Visser and Cam and Garrett here at 365 Sports. We put together an amazing week. We have, yesterday, we absolutely tore the cover off the ball. And by the way, like and subscribe if you're watching for the first time. We got a ton of people watching on Twitter right now, over 9,000. Amazing interview yesterday with Jerry Palm. Just posted on Instagram. Cam did a great job with the short about why Miami of Ohio has to win the conference tournament to get into the NCAA. Today we have Brendan Haywood. We've waxed poetic about his ability to tell stories, and I've said wax poetic. I've hit my quote on that today. And then we got Fraschilla tomorrow. And who's Thursday, Chris? I'm trying to see. We got somebody really good on Thursday too. Visser will tell us. He just told me though. Let's see here. And Brian Hodgson. The interview we had with Brian Hodgson. Oh, and Chris Level from Texas Tech is coming up on Thursday. Level is the man. Cam just gave a fist bump. You want a great storyteller and somebody who's going to pick a side? Yeah, Chris Level is awesome.
And someone who has intel.
Yeah,
Chris Level has intel around the Big 12.
And
around
you talk about guys who operate in rooms with like a ton of dough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chris Level, man. Chris Level rubs elbows. I'll tell you that much, man. Good guy too. Really good guy.
He's been nice to you?
Oh yeah, Level's great, man. I love Level. He's truly like one of the good guys in America's conference.
All right, and the Micah Banks is the SID for USF. I sent him a thank you yesterday because he and Visser set this whole thing up with Brian Hodgson, USF's head coach. And I just thanked him. I was like, that was unbelievable, that show we did yesterday with Coach Hodgson. And I also alerted him. I said, it's way too good for us to wait till when I'm at the American Conference calling games. So we're going to run it this week. He's like, that's perfect. And to be completely honest, Brian Hodgson is probably one of the best young coaches in college basketball, okay? More than likely, you will see him in the NCAA tournament this year. Right now, bracketology has USF as an 11 seed. Now, I'm not talking crazy like they were getting that large, or they could actually. They could, because their net, I know, at times this year was like in the 50s. So maybe they could even get in that large, but I think they will win the conference tournament for the simple reason that the way the American does it this year is the favorite will advance right to the semifinals, the top two seeds. So it's 2 wins and you're in. Won't be a picnic, but the table's set. And so for us to have a coach of that ilk on his way up, to be as transparent as he was yesterday with us when we recorded it, talking about his life. He grew up in foster care. I mean, just really abhorrent stuff that, unspeakable things that he shared with us that were shared to illustrate the impact of the foster care situation and how that can have on you as a child, how it can shape your perspective, and also the importance of stepping in and adopting, right? Because he was adopted by an amazing family when he was 2 years old after his addicted father, a guy he thought he was his father, put him on a wood-burning stove. And he will tell the story in great detail tomorrow, which I didn't see coming, but or Friday, I'm sorry. But wow, what a treat to talk to Brian Hodgson. One last thing too, I saw this. I promised myself I'd read it because it's pretty cool. Rogue Media, right? We just put something out. Hold on, let me get this. Rogue Media clips. There you go. All right, 10 years ago, this is right in my wheelhouse. 10 years ago, this is a post by Rogue Media Clips. That's an arm of I don't know how it works. They're affiliated with us. We love Rogue Media. 10 years ago, fitness coach Missy Bevers walked into I'm going to do it like Keith Morrison, actually. 10 years ago, fitness coach Missy Bevers walked into Creekside Church to set up her morning class. Minutes later, she was brutally murdered, captured only by a shadowy figure in a tactical gear, roaming the hills. No identity, no motive, no justice. Who killed Missy Bevers? And why has this case remained ice cold? There you go, baby. Claire Santamore is going to talk about it all. It's in Midlothian, Texas, right? At O'Brien's Bookshop. Claire's podcast is absolutely unbelievable. You got to check it out. It's a true crime podcast, and it's on the Rogue Media Network. Does anybody know what that's called? Garrett's looking it up right now. And then you hear music. But yeah, I'm a true crime junkie. We got to have Claire back on the show. But yeah, Claire's the best. She's the real deal. Garrett, anything?
Final Days on Earth?
Final Days on Earth? I think that's one of them. There's another one too.
Killer Story. That's it.
All right, that's it.
That was the book. Sorry. Killer Story is the book.
Texas Justice Tour, that's what it is. It's true crime. It kicks ass. Just Google Claire Santamon. All right,
She's got a lot of great true crime stuff out there. Claire does.
Yeah, Claire's the best. All right, that's it. We'll be back tomorrow with Fran Fraschilla. We'll be doing that show from Flower Mound. I'm trying to think of, I'm not going to say this. Don't tell Corey. Sometimes I feel like we don't have enough time. There's a lot I want to get to. I want to talk to Cam about, but that'll do it. We are probably, I'm going to say this, the most underrated show that's out there right now. Okay, we're closing in on 100,000 subscribers, but, we'll put videos up sometimes. They just get a couple hundred views, whatever. I'm not saying 1 million people should be watching, but tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, dude. This is a good, thoughtful, we got Cam, so it's funny, sports and pop culture show. All right. Oh, my God, industry. Whew. I can't stop watching. All right, the Pete Sousa Show will be back tomorrow.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals, ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
Sports.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.